Last episode, I said that the 8th episode would be cursed. That's definitely an odd thing to note, so let me explain. There's been a trend that the 8th episode of each season has been subpar. Season 1's 8th episode was Look Before You Sleep, which I thoroughly bashed. Season 2's episode was The Mysterious Ne'er-do-well, which everyone thoroughly bashed. And Season 3, well, the 8th episode aired was the Apple Family Reunion, which, well, everyone just shrugged off, so I guess that's an improvement. So yeah, if you're superstitious, you might say that 8 is Friendship is Magic's unlucky number. However, there was another trend, that Rarity never had a bad solo episode. Perhaps Megan McCarthy noticed these two trends and decided to pit them against each other to see which one would win. Let's see for ourselves. The episode starts with the main six going to Manehattan because Rarity is going to enter a fashion contest of some kind. And Rarity has given all of her friends tickets to a musical. So they arrive at Manehattan, and we've just taken the setting. It's going to be extremely odd hearing me say this, but the characters feel very out of place in a big city like this. It's just a personal gripe, so no points added or subtracted. Dave Polsky actually throws us a good lampshading joke, and we get our song for the episode, called Generosity. It's the best song of the season so far, and yes, I am counting apples to the core on that. It shows that Rarity is extremely generous. In most cases, yeah, this would count as a strike, as it seems mostly like a type of filler. Here, however, the episode is clearly going to be about her generosity, as opposed to the Smile song, which is barely connected to the episode that it's in. Also, the song does show us the grandeur of the city without taking us out of the atmosphere. It was a smart song placement. Unfortunately, the song took too much of their time, and now Rarity is almost late for checking into her contest. If she's tardy, then she'll be disqualified. The main six try to get a cab, and we see that an alicorn princess can't get one. Yes, there's a problem with the episode, and it's one we're going to have to talk about right now. In my Daring Don't review, I said that people not noticing Twilight as an alicorn would be a persistent problem throughout the season, and my prediction is turning out to be true. Here's the thing, they could either destroy the story that they were going for, or drop Twilight from the story altogether, which isn't always a bad option, but still. I'm making a new rule. Rule number 1 is that the sound or songs don't factor into my reviews. Rule number 2 is that changes to the show's dynamic don't factor into my reviews. Rule 3, characters not noticing that Twilight is a princess or an alicorn won't factor into my reviews, because it would take time and energy from the rest of my review. We'll talk about it during the Season 4 overview. Though for the writer's sake, I do hope they figure out this puzzle as soon as possible. Rarity gets on the cab, but Spike realizes they forgot the dresses. When Rarity gets to the contest building, she realizes that she forgot her dresses. Luckily, her friends sent them along their way. That was nice of them. Rarity makes it just in time, but gets scolded for it. Okay then. She basically announces that the winner gets to meet top designers and the losers go home early. Then someone comes up to Rarity claiming to know her. They hit it off and she compliments Rarity's dresses. So Rarity gives her some spare fabrics for accents. The next day, Rarity gets to the contest early, and she sees that the other pony made entirely new dresses out of Rarity's fabric. Rarity confronts her, and then Rarity learns a very valuable lesson, with her element turned on her head. Remember what I said in my Return of Harmony review? Most of the other ponies had their elements turned against each other, except Rarity and debatably Fluttershy. This is what I was talking about. Rarity learns that being too generous can have negative consequences. In fact, this episode is my gripe with that episode done completely right. Then we see that Rarity's competitor is an asshole to her assistant, Coco Pamel, and Rarity goes crying away. The rest of the main six are laughing and enjoying their time in Manehattan, so Rarity explains the problem. Rarity looks through the hotel room and gets an idea to make a whole new line. That's interesting. And she gets her friends working, turning the hotel stuff into a new fashion ensemble. You're gonna pay for that stuff, right? And hey, look, Rarity is blind to her friends' overwork, going so far as to guilt trip them. But she actually has a reason to be doing this. So it's like suited for success in reverse without the contrivance. Now the humor in this episode is rather odd. Not the usual Dave Polsky fare. Yeah, there's a lot of that. It makes me feel like I'm watching a parody of Friendship is Magic, or at the very least someone else's review of an episode. It isn't as out there as Flutterhulk from Power Ponies, but yeah, if there was one gripe I had to give this episode, it's that the humor comes off as odd rather than funny. A Dave Polsky episode where the weakest part is the humor. Guys, I think I've gone fucking insane. Rarity presents her designs, and those cameos are confusing. Rarity is competing to meet people she already knows and has done business with. Whatever. Rarity realizes that her friends didn't come, and she realizes that she's been a thankless asshole. One of the borders shimmers, and that causes a shimmer in Rarity's eye. I have no idea. So Rarity runs to the hotel, and she learns from the bellhop that her friends have gone. And we get a nice reprise of the song from earlier. Rarity wants to talk to the contest holder, but it appears that she doesn't want to be bothered because she's furious. However, it seems that Rarity's friends didn't leave Manehattan after all. They missed the show because they overslept, and Siri told them they lost. and Rarity doesn't care. She's happy to still have her friends, and Rarity has given her friends a private showing of the musical they wanted to go to. In order to do that, Rarity offered to make all the costumes for the stage manager's next show, which would keep her in Manehattan. In comes serious assistant Coco Pamel with Rarity's trophy, and it seems like she's the one who learns the lesson, and gives Rarity a present. Rarity gives Coco the job to make the costumes, and the thread happens to be a rainbow. Some people are saying that that's one of the keys, which is interesting. When you pit two opposing trends against each other, one of them has to win in the end, and the Rarity never having a bad episode is the one that won here. This episode is rather interesting to me, at least from a writing perspective. Forget who wrote it for a minute, and think, whose work does this feel like? The answer is probably anything but Dave Polsky. For once, the humor is in the focus, and he takes on a very serious story, and leaves the humor to the wayside. Speaking of new writers, we get another one in the next episode, taking on a Pinky and Applejack episode. You know what? I'm not even going to question on this shit anymore. Megan McCarthy is some kind of insane genius that likes to pull crazy experiments that 9 times out of 10 pay off. She's proved that she knows what she's doing.